Next up is 570 Ridge Road. Could we just one question to the applicant that Mr. Root, I'm assuming, are you on duty right now?
I am not. I got stuff late at work. I'm sorry for my appearance.
No, that's fine. We
wanted to accommodate you if you
No,
were.
No,
If you've got time, then
I have time.
then relax and enjoy the show.
No, I have time.
thank you.
All right. 570 Ridge Road, located at 570 Ridge Road, applicant Growth Place Acquisitions LLC is requesting a use variance to allow the conversion of an existing church building into a single-family residence on a 1.6-acre parcel having SBL number 078.20-1-3, located in an L2 low-intensity commercial district under section 225-16 of the Code of the Town of Webster.
Good evening. Hello, my name is Tom Ellis. I'm an applicant for the 570 Ridge Road project, requesting a use variance to use the property as an owner-occupied single-family home. The property is currently owned by New Life United Methodist Church. New Life and I have entered into a purchase agreement that is ready to close but conditioned on the approval of this use variance. At Mr. Artuzo's instruction, New Life has co-signed and supported this application as evidenced by the owner's affidavit, which can be found on page 12 of our application packet. This property first caught my attention when it was listed for sale 5 years ago, due to its unique characteristic as a charming church tucked in a West Webster neighborhood. Over the years, I found myself taking the long way to drive by the property and keeping an eye on the listing. As my wife and I were considering locations to raise our growing family, we decided on Webster. Due to the school district, proximity to family, and ease of access to the city of Rochester. We specifically appreciated the character and charm of the old homes in the West Webster Ridge Road neighborhood. With my background of completing real estate projects, I was keeping an eye open for a property that could match up with what we were looking for in a home. I kept going back to the 570 Ridge Road property. I thought the property was well laid out for a use as a single family. As the property sat on the market, I began to think that a project may be possible. I was surprised to learn that single family was not a permitted use, considering that the property was located in a mature residential neighborhood. Upon further research, it appeared that the property, which is located in an LC1 zoning district, may be a suitable candidate for a use variance due to the challenges New Life appeared to be facing. At this time, I started gathering more information. According to Town Code, which can be found on page 42, there are elements that must be proven to have a use variance approved. An applicant must demonstrate the following: that a reasonable return cannot be realized, that the hardship is unique, that the hardship has not been self-created, that the request will not alter the character of the neighborhood, and that there is no other means to remedy the circumstances. The town provides use variance applicants with a helpful worksheet to complete this. In the application, these elements are addressed in detail on pages 43 through 59. I will give a brief overview of each of the elements. The first element is that a reasonable return cannot be realized. This can be demonstrated by the fact that the property has been listed for sale for over 5 years, since 2016, without a sale. The property owner and its agents have exhausted all channels to sell the property. The detailed sales efforts are outlined in the listing agent's affidavit on page 72. During this period, there have also been 8 other arm's-length sales in the zoning district, with public data available. In total, these properties have collectively sold for 140% of their assessed value. 570 Ridge is currently listed at 41% of its assessed value. Also, the demand for religious facilities has greatly fallen over the years, as the public enrollment and financial support of religious organizations has declined. Additionally, New Life has been burdened by incurring the property expenses for the past 5 years. New Life is a religious organization that runs primarily on community support and community volunteers from the town of Webster. Also, the current full market value of the property per the town is $1,666,000. The property was most recently listed at $495,000. This represents a listing price of 30% of the assessor's full market value. This is the strongest financial indicator that the property is incapable of earning a reasonable return. After 5 years, New Life has finally received a purchase offer for the property. This approval will allow New Life to sell the property and be relieved of their financial and administrative burden. At this point, New Life's hope of achieving a reasonable return on the property has long since passed. The second element in the hardship is unique. The second element is that the hardship is unique and does not apply to a substantial portion of the zoning district. This can be shown because 570 Ridge Road is the only property in the district that's a religious facility. There are 32 other parcels in the district, and 28 out of the 32, or 88%, have a residential component. 570 Ridge Road is the only property in the district that is greater than 3,800 square feet. The average property size in the district is less than 2,000 square feet. Additionally, 570 Ridge Road is the only property in the district that has been for sale for over 365 days. By all accounts, 570 Ridge Road appears to be unique to the zoning district. The third element is that the requested variance will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood. This is a very important element to us as a buyer, and currently this district consists of 32 properties, of which 17 are currently being used as a single-family home. This represents 53% of the properties in this district. Additionally, 28 out of the 32 properties in the district have a residential component to their use. An additional statistic is that out of the 32 other properties in the district, they are composed of 61,000 square feet. And currently 49,000 square feet, or 79% of the total square foot in the district, is used for residential purposes. Outside of the zoning district, 570 Ridge Road is also part of a larger neighborhood that spans Ridge Road from Gravel to Bay. This neighborhood is also predominantly residential. 570 Ridge has been part of this neighborhood since the church was first built in the 1860s. It's plausible to conclude that the neighborhood was actually built around 570 Ridge Road. Additionally, as part of our plan, the exterior will not be modified in any material way. From the exterior, there will be no way for a passerby to know that a use variance was granted. 570 Ridge Road will continue to be a meaningful part of the neighborhood under our plan. It is expected that having the property utilized as a single family will lead to better maintenance, upkeep, and an overall greater pride of ownership that will blend seamlessly in with the other properties in the neighborhood, which are cared for by their current owners, many of whom are also owner-occupants. The next element is illustrating that the hardship is not self-created. This can be shown by the fact that a religious facility has been located at the site since the 1860s. At this time, religious facilities and single-family homes were permitted uses in the zoning district. This change in the zoning code could not be predicted and was not self-created. Additionally, the property has been used as a religious facility since it was constructed. The decline in enrollment and financial contributions to religious organizations and the resulting decline in demand for older religious facilities could not be predicted. Also, the stated purpose of the LC1 zoning district is to encourage the permitted uses in buildings of less than 5,000 square feet. 570 Ridge Road does not fit this description, and this discrepancy could not be predicted. Again, the property has been marketed for sale since July 2016. The owners and their brokers have acted in good faith to sell the property. By all measurable metrics, the property owners are motivated sellers unable to find a buyer. Since all possible efforts have been made by the owner, it cannot be self-created. Finally, it must be demonstrated that there is no solution other than the granting of the variance by which the hardship can be avoided. This can be demonstrated by the fact that, as previously discussed, the property has been marketed for sale since 2016. It's currently listed at 41% of the assessed value and 30% of the full market value. This gravely illustrates the economic hardship and shocking devaluation of the property in a location where most properties sell for much higher than the assessed value. Current zoning does not permit residential use, but it appears that residential use is critical to the economic feasibility of properties in this district. Currently, 88% have a residential component. Granting the variance to allow 570 Ridge Road to be used as a single family is the only remedy that removes the burden of the property being utilized for commercial and investment purposes. where return on investment is the sole deciding factor. When used as a single family, a buyer can value the property based on its unique characteristics, location, and intrinsic value. After gathering the necessary information to prove the elements necessary for a use variance, I began putting together a concrete plan for the actual use of the property. Our plan for the exterior of the property is that it will not undergo any architectural changes. Please see the survey and pictures beginning on page 26. From the street, again, there will be no way to know that a use variance was approved. We believe the exterior is the most charming element of the property. The plan is to complete the cosmetic updates and deferred maintenance that are needed at the property. This consists of painting, repair of gutters, railings, sidewalks, driveways, and the clearing of brush and debris. The backyard consists of a large yard and parking area. With some elbow grease, the yard can be transformed from an overgrown lot to a park-like setting. The parking area is an ideal space for kids to ride their bikes and play basketball or street hockey. We envision the neighborhood kids and our children playing in the backyard like we did in our childhoods. Our goal is to keep the character of the building as is, while providing the building with the pride of ownership that is a hallmark of the other properties in this neighborhood. Our plan for the interior is just as simple as the exterior. Please see the attached line drawings on page 39. The current layout is conducive to residential use, so no structural or mechanical changes are needed. This is the defining element in making this project possible. We will not remove any of the physical elements of the property that allow it to be used for commercial purposes. Throughout the space, we will make the necessary improvements required under the building code, including smoke and carbon detectors, electrical, plumbing, ingress, egress, health and safety, etc. The general theme for the property is a clean, minimalist, industrial finish that puts practicality and functionality over high-end modern finishes. We hope to create a home our kids don't want to leave and their friends are asking to visit. The property is divided up into two wings, each with 2 levels of finished space. Upon entry, there is a foyer and sitting area that has a wheelchair ramp and handicap access to the building. These will remain intact and the layout will remain as is. This space will also receive cosmetic and aesthetic updates as needed. The west wing of the first floor consists of 4 private rooms. This will serve as the bedroom floor. It is well laid out and private from the rest of the structure. There is a small Jack and Jill half bathroom that will stay as is. The rooms will receive basic cosmetic repairs, paint, carpet, and light fixtures. The east wing of the first level is the chapel space. This served as New Life's worshiping hall. Walking into this room, you cannot help but marvel at the craftsmanship. It is beautiful. We plan to keep the configuration as is while making the necessary cosmetic and functional repairs. This open space will serve as a type of large finished basement or recreation space, the type your kids could only dream of. Part of the room will be used as a fitness and workout area. This space is the main driver of the functional minimalist concept surrounding the property. While many people would envision using this part of the building as a central living area or relocating the kitchen here, both concepts that I can appreciate, we do not believe this is the highest and best use of the space, nor does it make financial sense. Our functional and pragmatic approach to this project is based on the idea that less is more. In our plan, we see this space not as underutilized, but full of endless possibilities. We have observed in our own lives that creativity and spontaneity possible when kids are given the space to explore, create, and play. When family's at the grandparents for the weekend, the kids spend the whole time playing in the barn without a TV or tablet in sight. We see this chapel space serving a similar purpose, the kind of space not available in a typical suburban tract home. Below the chapel is a below-grade area currently used for clergy offices, storage, and utility rooms. Our plan is to keep this layout as is. A large portion of the area will keep its use as utility and basement storage. One room will be used as a library or reading room. Another room will be used as a woodworking hobby or shop area. We'll use multiple areas for craft, homework, and study rooms to supplement our children's time in school. We see this area as a structured alternative to the open concept chapel space above. Additionally, my wife and I are both self-employed. We operate a small investment and asset management business. We have a dedicated office space in the city of Rochester that we will continue to operate out of. In this wing, we both plan to use a room as a home office. We hope this will allow us to spend more nights and weekends at home instead of back at the office in the city. This is another practical benefit of the property. The second floor of the west wing consists of a full kitchen that has been used to serve the community for years. We hope to use it to serve our family in the future. There is a sink, fridge, stove, wall, and floor cabinets, and plenty of counter space, laid out exactly as you would find in a residential home. We plan to complete cosmetic updates throughout, leaving the layout as is. Off the kitchen, there's a large room with plenty of natural light. We would utilize this room as an open concept living space with a seating and dining area. This space will continue the clean, minimalist, industrial concept. We see this serving as a central gathering place for our local and out-of-town family and friends. Adjacent to this room are 2 bathrooms, each containing 2 toilet stalls. We plan to convert 1 stall in each bathroom to a shower and tub. The drain and water infrastructure are already in place. They will both become code-compliant full bathrooms. Additionally, we plan to conduct a comprehensive review of the building's mechanical systems. We will complete any necessary repairs and create a preventative maintenance schedule to ensure that the building is well cared for into the future. In order to complete the project, we do plan to carry out a majority of the labor ourselves. I have a well-rounded construction background and successfully completed projects of a similar scope and size. We look forward to this project being a labor of love and want to pour our sweat into it. However, I am aware that there will be work that is outside our skill set or that requires permits and licenses. We have a network of experienced subcontractors to complete such work. Our interest in this project is to become proud stewards of a beautiful church located in a charming West Webster neighborhood. We think this property will serve as an amazing home that is the foundation of our family's future, while teaching our kids the valuable lesson of taking something and leaving it better than you found it. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to potentially provide my family with this functional space under one roof. Looking at the property through this lens is what has allowed us to make a project work where no one else has been able to find a solution for the past 5 years. As passionate as we are also realistic about the financial requirements. We are certain we have prudently allocated the necessary resources to complete the project under any potential circumstances. I ask that you would consider granting our use variance request to use the property as an owner-occupied single family based on our full application. We believe that this is the minimum variance necessary to provide relief while at the same time taking care to protect the character of the neighborhood we would love to become a part of. I hope the outline plan supplies enough information so that you can share and support our vision. I look forward to answering and addressing any questions you may have. I would also like to introduce Mark Costello, my counsel from Boyle & Code, who we engaged to help fulfill our commitment to New Life Church. We pledge to them to do everything possible to navigate the use variance process with attention to detail. Both Mr. Costello and Mr. Artuso have been extremely helpful in this process. Thank you for your time and consideration. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer them.
Do you have a copy of your presentation?
What's that?
Can I have a copy of your presentation?
Yes.
Thank you.
I have 2 extras, but I believe we provided 10 by the deadline.
Oh, okay, never mind, I got that. All right, you just read out of it.
Does anyone else need one?
No, we are good.
Thank you.
We would have appreciated if you would have been a little bit better prepared and more thorough.
I appreciate that. It's my first time going through the use variance, and obviously the process was a little daunting, but it's been a great experience to learn about it. And yeah, like I said, with Mr. Artuso was very helpful, and the town of Webster definitely supports people trying to figure it out, so we appreciate that.
I have a commemorative plate, the one that you show on page 404, page 38. The First United Methodist Church of Webster, New York, founded in 1863. I purchased a church in northern New York that has the same commemorative plate that was constructed in 1872. So when I looked at this, I'm like, wow, that's the same. And we hung it up in the church that we bought. A little bit different rural setting, more Little House on the Prairie-ish, but we converted it into an Adirondack cabin and used it as a little getaway.
Oh, very cool. Thanks for sharing that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't think you could have presented anything else. I think you pretty much nailed it. The biggest thing to me is this property is set for 5 years. It's got all the financial hardship data has been provided. Obviously it's been marketed. with no luck. I'm quite familiar with the process. I'm quite familiar with the number of churches that are going to come into this scenario in the near future in terms of sitting on the market or being prepped for sale. This, as you pointed out, 88%, I think you said, of this neighborhood is single family or residential in nature.
The market had a platform available, and they do what the realtors do is doesn't sell, reduce it, wait several months, doesn't offers, reduce it. They did that over the course of 5 years, they reduced it like $500,000. So they did what they needed to do to sell it, and the owners, I can see the financial distress suffered with this property. And it's unfortunate that the church's sakes are just not in demand right now. It's kind of interesting that the neighborhood, the zoning is, the town is trying to kind of push that into commercial, but I don't see it because all those little older homes are only like 20 to 30 feet from the road. There's no parking or anything like that. So it's even though the zoning is commercial, it's really better suited for residential purposes.
It's only moved up to move south. Right? I mean, the commercial moves south.
Right, right.
That's what a commercial moves.
Yeah, there's maybe 2 commercial businesses along that stretch, and everything else is a residence of some sort. So there's still examples.
It's probably a little more like the LC2 out in Mill Way, where it's a combination of residential and commercial, and say a blended neighborhood. That's what it appears to be.
Thank you. This meeting is open to anyone wishing to speak for or against this application. Seeing no one, will return the discussion back to the board. Pursuant to NYCR Section 617 of the Environmental Code, I'll make a motion that this is an unlisted action. All in favor? I don't see any detriment, to this being converted into a single-family residential structure. I think we've touched on a lot of points. We would certainly adopt what the applicant has prepared for us in terms of our findings with respect to the hardship on the property, or the property, I should say. Anybody have anything else to add?
I'm fully supportive, but I think there have been a million other commercial businesses that would have been a detriment to the structure and its historic value. And I think we all can appreciate what you're bringing to the table to save the outside facade and keep its original appearance. So thank you.
With all of the potential uses that, even within the allowable uses, this is certainly the least compared to the residents on either side across the street of this.
Certainly less traffic.
And certainly your letter of intent met the requirements. This is one of the biggest struggles that we have with the use variance. There, the standards package that's prepared it certainly meets the requirements for use variance and the conditions set forth within that code. So I don't think there's anything else to add. We would adopt everything that we outlined in the package. And I would make a motion to grant a use variance to the applicant, Grove Place Acquisitions LLC, to allow the conversion at 570 Ridge Road, to allow the conversion of an existing church building into a single-family residential residence on a 1.6-acre parcel having SBL number 078-20-1-3, located in an LC2 low-intensity commercial district under section 225-16 of the code of the town of Webster. All in favor? All in favor. How about that?
Mr. Newtown?
Aye.
Mrs. Bola?
Aye.
Mr. Stefanik?
Aye.
Mr. Barone?
A couple conditions apply, must obtain all necessary governmental permit, or actually use permit. So I guess, you know, obviously anything related to the building structure, you would probably have to have a building permit. But in terms of the use, it's not for.
Thank you very much, appreciate your time.
Okay.